Hello, hello. Welcome back, everybody. Welcome back to the CAT Scan Guru podcast. Hope you guys are doing amazing. And yeah, starting to look like summer here in the Midwest. I'm so freaking excited about this. So I know I've talked about this in multiple episodes. So if you haven't checked out my TikTok channel, make sure you check it out. Make sure you follow along. I am doing a series right now where I am doing a muscle mommy series getting ready for summer. So in the next 60 days, I am taking my fitness journey kind of to the next level. And yeah, because my goal is to be a muscle mommy. Fun fact, I am a mom, so I can call myself a muscle mommy. Not that nobody else can, because they can. So fitness has been something that's been a part of my life for a long time, even though I've started and stopped as many times as I can count. But this time, for the last 3 years, it really stuck. 2024 was probably one of the toughest years I had. It was filled with a lot of failures and heartbreak and things like that. So, yeah, it really just, when you get tired of your shit, you just lock in and you get shit done. So make sure you go check that out. And also, I have all your CT resources and needs with courses and guides, pocketbook. Make sure you guys check out the show notes for that. Make sure you check out the YouTube channel, subscribe to the YouTube channel. Got some good educational videos coming out for that because there have been some CT registry prep courses that have been asked, popular demand. So I'm going to give you guys the goods. So make sure you subscribe and subscribe to the podcast here. Make sure you share it with a CT technologist that, needs some guidance and can use some educational tips. So make sure you follow along and share. Everything will be in the show notes for your CT needs as far as protocol, guides, and courses. So let's get into today's episode. In today's episode, I'm going to be talking about the difference between the good old average tech versus a strong tech. Now, there is a difference between both of these, and I know this episode is probably going to be a little triggering for some people, but stick with me here because there is a difference. And I'm going to give you some tips to improve on how you can be a stronger tech. Now, there is a difference between the average tech and a strong tech. So the difference between that is when you have just the average tech, they kind of do like the bare minimum. I'm going to use a really bad example. It's kind of like a man or a woman in a relationship where they just do the bare minimum shit and you put up with it. Okay. So that's no dig to anybody, but that's the best example that my brain can come up with is you just have a technologist that is there. They'll do the minimum. They know their way around some things, but they don't take the initiative to get more education, improve their skill set, and learn something new. So they kind of stay average, which we see a lot of that. Okay. Versus a strong tech, the tech you can depend on, the tech that when shit goes wrong, that's who you want by your side to make sure that they run that code with you, that if something happens to the patient, they know exactly how to handle the situation and help you out. The tech that is strong with their skill set and says, and you have a question and say, hey, I'm not sure about this protocol, and you guys go over it together. The tech that helps you out when you've missed 2 IVs and they come in, boom, 18 gauge in the right AC. The tech that as far as who they can contact and who they can call when shit goes wrong. Or if the fluoro is not working on a CT machine for a biopsy, they know exactly how to fix it. So you kind of get my point as far as what's a strong tech versus a average tech. Okay. Because there's clearly a difference in both of those. Okay. So one of the things that I can point out as far as an average tech is, they tend to try to memorize things. We know in CT, we can't memorize everything. Okay. They just memorize. They really don't understand what is going on. They react to things. Okay. They hesitate. So that's why I say they do the bare minimum, when it comes to their skill set. Kind of like a man who does bare minimum in a relationship or a woman that does bare minimum in a relationship. Okay. I know that's really bad examples, but you kind of get my point where I'm going with this. Okay. So how do we create a strong tech? So how do we do this? We make sure that you understand what's going on. Make sure you understand your protocols. Make sure you understand the whys. Make sure you understand how to adjust or how to fix something or prevent a mistake. And then instead of reacting, they anticipate, okay, if this patient's going to be combative, what can I do to keep them calm? Or if the patient is not understanding something, what can I do to help them out to explain the exam better? And then a strong tech is going to make quick decisions. Okay. So if a patient looks like they are going to possibly throw up, they're going to react, make sure they've got that, emesis bag for them. Or if, the IV is not functioning properly, they're either going to restart it or get the nurse to help them out. So there's a lot of quick thinking that goes when you are a strong tech. Okay. So they think on their feet, but being a strong technologist doesn't come overnight. It takes practice and lots of repetition in just really improving your skill sets and continuous learning to become a very strong tech. Okay. Now, a lot of techs tend to stay average by choice, their choice. Okay. And so they feel stuck in just being average, but they want to improve, but they don't know how. Okay. There's lots of ways that you can improve. Continuing education, we have to make sure that we do that, every 2 years. Never stop learning your skill set because there's lots of new things that come out every single day, or should I say every single year, as far as when it comes to CT, ASRT has really good direct readings where you can, read different things on diagnosis. Really learning, your pathology to be a lot stronger when you see something and you have to kind of alert the radiologist and say, hey, this looks like it may be positive. So honing in on that skill set, and going to seminars, there's all kinds of things online. CT is Us. They always do all kinds of seminars and things like that. MTMI does seminars. So you can actually get involved, or even your society in your state get involved, because they do a lot of continuing education. Okay. And even improving your skill set while you're there, asking questions, writing things down, learning your protocols. I have an excellent reference in a pocketbook that you can, kind of get you started, for your CT training. It's available in the show notes. So you don't need more time, to say, okay, I'm going to hesitate. I'm going to react. You don't need more time to do those things. You just need better thinking and better thinking skills, and to make sure that you can make quick decisions and you understand what you're doing on that floor. Okay. So like I said, there's a difference between an average tech and a strong tech. You want to be a strong tech, you got to invest in yourself, guys. That is the whole point. You want to be the best successful technologist you can to execute better care to the patients, okay? Because the patients, when they're with us, even though it's for a short time, their life is in our hands, because at any time something can go wrong. Okay. So you want to be that strong technologist that knows what they're doing in the room, not just behind the console. Okay. And you know how to go ahead and act quick in case something happens to the patient or something happens during an exam. So you have to, have quick decision making and make sure that you understand exactly how you're going to execute that exam. Okay. So that is all for today's episode. I like to make my episodes nice and short and bite-sized so that I can give you as much information as possible. So make sure you guys check out the show notes, follow along on TikTok and Instagram, follow along on the YouTube channel. Make sure you subscribe to the podcast so you get all your CT resources and educational needs. Thank you so much for joining me in this episode. I will chat with you guys in the next episode.